Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Nicholas Corcel, and today we're going to be talking about Fante Bukowski Book 1. And this is a very atypical video for what I like to typically do on the channel. This is a graphic novel. This is the first graphic novel that I'll be reviewing on the channel, and honestly probably the first graphic novel that I've read in, 10, 15 years. I'm trying to rack my mind right now to think of when the last time I've read a graphic novel was. And I have no idea. I want to say that I've never read one, but that doesn't feel super possible. Today we're going to be focusing on this sliver right here between the two bookmarks. Not a very big section, but that is book 1. So this I was able to pick up. I found somebody on Facebook Marketplace that is moving from Chicago to France, and they were giving away all of their books. And so I was able to pick up like 60 or 70 books. And so whatever she was willing to give, I took, and I went through it later. And this book seemed pretty interesting to me. Graphic novels not being something I'm super interested in, but Bukowski and Fante both being a huge interest of me. And so it starts like this. Let me throw this right there. So it starts like this, right? Fante Bukowski, struggling writer. And we get a super striking image of a guy just laying in filth, right? It's got all of the writer stereotypes. It's got an open copy of the book Women. It's got wine with a label that says cheap wine, a pen, a piece of paper, specifically one piece of paper, not a lot, not a whole manuscript. His t-shirt says careful, or you'll wind up in my novel. And he's talking about vapid cows. And as this novel goes on, we see about every other page has a quote from a famous writer, most of whom I really respect and enjoy. And I was honestly very pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed reading this book 1 by Noah Van Scriver of Fante Bukowski, because I found it to be weirdly relatable, but also very playful with the subject matter. So the story was really centered around the classic male writer archetype, the lit bro kind of gone wrong, in the sense that the guy is very misogynistic, very, very self-obsessed. He loves writers like Bukowski and Fante and Kerouac, Hemingway, these hyper-masculine writers, which I will say I have a huge soft spot for myself. But I think every writer, every young writer, or even reader, specifically every young male reader, has gone through a phase where they're very similar to this, where they think that their writing and their ideas are unique, or that they are just this undiscovered genius. And I think there's one line where he's like, I wrote my first book, and I'm not famous yet, or whatever. I've been writing for a year. I just finished my first book. Why do I not have an agent? Why do I not have all of this success that he almost feels entitled to? And I think it pains me to say, because now I like to try to have a pretty level-headed approach with my writing and my work and my career at large, kind of not having any expectations and just taking things as they come and enjoying the journey and the process for what it is. And I think I'm fairly happy with my mind state now, but when you're young, or when you're first starting rather, I think age doesn't matter as much as how far you've been in your journey, or how long you've been doing it rather. And so he wants this success, and he wants it immediately, and he's not getting it. And so he starts to blame the other groups. He blames publishing, he blames feminists, he blames women, he blames his agent or his lack thereof. He ends up hooking up with this girl who does have an agent. He quickly convinces himself that he's this genius and everybody else is overlooking him. Right, and that's something that I think we all have thought. It brought me back to when I was in high school and I had completed a novel, which now with looking back as a 24-year-old man, the fact that I wrote a 90,000 word novel in high school is something that I'm proud of. And so that kind of makes up for the shame I feel for what I'm about to say. But at the time I was like, okay, the novel's done. I don't need to edit it. My writing was careful and meticulous and blah, blah, blah. Thinking you're above these certain things that writers who are much older and much more experienced than you have to go through. I thought I was above all of that. I remember I sent it to agents. I think one agent, one of the agents saw my age in the query letter. I think I put it in some, didn't in others, and was like, this is a huge accomplishment that you finished, but proofread your work. You have a lot of half-baked ideas. A lot of what you're saying is derivative. And he said it in a fairly nice way. But like a lot of what you're saying is derivative or has already been said before. Really focus on living more, experiencing more, or reading more even. I think a lot of people overemphasize this idea of living more and don't spend enough time talking about the idea that you need to read more. Because I'm fully of the belief that you can spend your whole life in one town and write fantastic books if, and only if, you are reading constantly, you're engaging with the masters, you are not only engaging with, like, you're critically engaging, you're grabbing a pencil and you're annotating, or however that looks for you. I don't think you have to annotate in the same way that I do. That'd be absurd to suggest. But you have to be doing reading in a very meaningful, engaging way to be pulling out what is important from you. And so I think that was really what resonated with me most, because when he finally gives his book and the publisher, or the agent rather, agrees to read it, he's like, dude, you just completely copied. And he said, this book is almost completely a copy. Like, why are you wasting my time? And that's the approach he took with Fante, because Fante's like 25, super arrogant and aggressive. Like, when I was submitting stuff at 16, 17, people were much nicer. But to be completely frank, my book was almost a word-for-word rip of Great Gatsby. Maybe word-for-word is being too harsh on myself. Like, I didn't pick up the book and copy things. It's just like the plot was basically the same. I tried to make it original. And I think even in middle school, I tried to rewrite Harry Potter, and I can't remember like the stupid names, but like it was a 5-house system, and I think it was set in like Ireland instead of England or Scotland. And in my head, these minor differences were me coming up with something new, but no, you're just regurgitating the ideas that you've already grappled with, right? So yeah, that was huge. It was relatable. Many times throughout this, I found myself laughing out loud, and if not laughing out loud, I was cringing inwardly. And I think that inward cringe was just as poignant, just as meaningful as the laughing out loud would be, specifically because of the subject matter of this book. Definitely, it was good enough, I would say, to continue reading it. I think I'll definitely read part 2. It's a really good book to read, like when you don't want to have to deal with something heady or something difficult. Like I'm currently about to finish 2666, and I'm on that very last part, the part about Archimboldi. And I will finish that, trust me. I will finish that and wrap up that series on this channel. But after reading the part about the crimes where it's just murder after murder after murder after murder and moving house and getting everything set up, I was just like, I need to take a break from all of this just like horrific Latin American crime in Santa Teresa and have something that was fun and lighthearted. And around that time, a bunch of graphic novels coming into my possession really was nice. And this book was a very refreshing, very nice read. And for that reason, I would really recommend it specifically to people who don't like graphic novels but do like reading, especially those who do like Fante or Bukowski. I'm not sure how this holds up in the world of graphic novels. I don't want to sit here and say this is the best graphic novel of the last 5 years, because I don't know. It's the only graphic novel I've read. So I think my opinion on that would be at best loaded, at worst, wildly misleading. But yeah, I did like it. I liked it a lot. If you like the types of books that I talk about on the channel, I think you might like it too. If you're looking for a break from some more difficult or more draining, rather, materials, definitely check out Fante Bukowski. I got this one, The Complete Works. This is kind of nice because all of his stories of Fante Bukowski are in here. Also, weirdly, I didn't even realize this, but my book is signed, which is pretty cool, I feel like. I didn't know that until after I read it. I'm glad I did not make physical annotations in the book, but this book is still nice and crisp, crystal clear and clean. I'm going to probably keep it like that. I don't know what Noah Van Scrivener's, or Noah Van Scriver, sorry, I said Scrivener, Noah Van Scriver, I don't know what his reputation is in the graphic novel community, if he's like really well received or not. I don't know how or why this person who's moving to France gave it away, but she did, and for that I'm very grateful. Maybe when I leave Chicago, I'll do the same. Probably not. But yes, it was a great novel, great graphic novel rather, good read, solid read. If you're looking for a break, I would really recommend it. Or if you just really like graphic novels, or if you just really like Bukowski and Fante. More so Bukowski, it's a lot more about Bukowski than it is Fante. I mean, the character is very obviously a ripoff of Henry Janaski in the best way possible. I think it's like all very intentional, and like it's the author further tipping his hat towards, tipping his hat in a joking manner toward this writer archetype. because the actual character, his name isn't Fante Bukowski. He's just some like law firm partner's son who changes his name to Fante Bukowski to find literary stardom. So it's absurd, you know, like the level that the parody takes. But I think that kind of makes it funny, and that's what makes it compelling. Because like for a storyline like this, you have to either go all in or all out. Noah Van Scriver, gotta write that time. Noah Van Scriver definitely goes all in. I mean, from the first page, he dives in with both feet and commits throughout. So, yeah, if you're in the market for a graphic novel, check it out. The complete works of Fante Bukowski by Noah Van Scriver. My name is Nicholas Corcel. You just watched The Literary Nomad. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.